Hello, class. Today we'll be talking about equations still. Now, today is different because we are going to be seeing word problems. And seriously, I wish we were in class. The understanding will have been better, but since Corona has placed us the way we are, we just have to manage and try and keep up, okay? Now, I'm impressed with the classwork I gave. Almost everybody got, those who submitted got everything, okay? Now, open your textbook to page 104. To page 104. I'm only going to explain using your textbook and the examples given in your textbook. Now, there are some key points you need to note when solving word problems in equation. Now, from your textbook in page 104, you see that the first point they gave there was choose a letter for the unknown. Now, this is very important. Once you have an unknown, just choose a letter for it. Okay, just let's say if once the question is framed like there is a number or I subtract a number from, once you don't know what that number is, you just call it the unknown, okay? Or you hear some things like 3 is subtracted from a certain number. That certain number is your unknown. So you always use an alphabet to, or a letter to denote that unknown. And it also say write down the information of the question in algebraic form. Now, I'm going to be showing you with the examples how you write the information. You are supposed to be picking the information line by line. Don't skip any line. Don't skip line 1 and go to line 2 and interpret before line 1. No. You interpret line 1, then you go to line 2, then you go to line 3. That's how you go about it. Okay, then the number 3 step, make an equation. Now, once you interpret it correctly, you make an equation. And then the number 4, solve the equation. Okay, from number 4, you already know what to do. We taught equations. We have an example here. They say, I think of a number. So, I think of a number. I multiply it by 5. I add 15. The result is 100. Now, how do you go about it? I think of a number that you don't know. So it is an unknown. You call it X or N or anything. Okay? You say, I multiply it by 5. That number that is an unknown, which is X, I will multiply it by 5. So 5 times X is what? 5X. Okay? You have interpreted the second line. We go to the third sentence there. I add 15. When you add 15 to that number that you multiplied by 5, you have 5x plus 15. The result is 100. That means that unknown number multiplied by 5 and 15 is added to it, it is equal to 100. So once you have this understanding, you now have a resulting equation that is 5x plus 15 is equal to 100. Excuse me. Now, when you have 5x plus 15 is equal to 100, you know how to solve equations, right? I can see they use method 1 here in solving this equation, but you can use any method. You can use any method. Excuse me. You can use any method and you will still be correct. You can say, okay, plus 15 crosses the equality sign, it becomes minus 15, so that you have 5x is equal to 100 minus 15. And then you have 5x is equal to 85. You divide both sides by 5, and you have your answer as 17. Okay, let's go to the next example. Please have your textbook while watching these videos, because as I'm zooming it here, it might not be clear for you to see. It says a rectangle is 8 long, 8 meters long, and the perimeter is 30 meters. The perimeter is 30 meters. Find the breadth of the rectangle. Now, this one is actually a straightforward question. The perimeter of a rectangle is, the perimeter P is equals to 2 into L plus B. And L means length, B means breadth. Now, find the breadth of the rectangle. If you notice, you are given length, you are given perimeter, but you are not given breadth. That means you're supposed to use your knowledge of equation to solve it. But since you know that perimeter is equals to 2 oh, the formula they wrote here is the elongated one, but the perimeter simply is 2 into bracket of length plus breadth. Okay, now if you interpret it like that, at the end of the day you have the perimeter, which is 30, is equal to, what is the length that you were giving? You are giving 8m. What is the breadth? The breadth is what you have to find. Okay, so you have 2 into 8 plus b. Now when you multiply that 2 into that bracket, you now have what you have here. 8 times 2 will give you 16. B times 2 will give you 2b. Okay, and when you know already it's equal to 30 because 30 is the perimeter, and then you solve it how you solve normal equations. You shift 18 to the other side, 16 to the other side, and then that's just it. Okay, now this, if you notice, the example so far, or we are not dealing with much of bracket or fraction. Now what problem can be in form of bracket or fraction? So let's see the next plane and I'll explain something. Now we have what problem with bracket in page 105, I think. You have what problem with bracket. Now the example 11 says, I subtract 3 from a certain number, multiply the number by 5, and then add 9. If the final result is 54, find the original number. Now I subtract 3 from a certain number. A certain number means the number is unknown. You call it whatever you want to call it. Call it x. Okay, then if I subtract 3 from x, it will be x minus 3, since I'm taking away 3 from x. And then the next sentence reads, multiply the result by 5. What is the result I have? The result I have is x minus 3, and I'm multiplying the entire result by 5. So in order not to make mistake, I bracket that result. Okay, when I put that result in bracket, then I can multiply it by 5. They said the final result is 54. That means after doing all this 5 into x minus 3 is equal to 54. Now once you have something, sorry, there is a last line, and then add 9. Okay, when I add 9 to my result, which is 5 into x minus 3, and then I add 9, is equal to 54. So when you add it, you have 5 into x minus 3 plus 9 is equal to 54. Now let me give you a tip. Instead of using they cleared the bracket first. In mathematics, whenever you have a simplification like this, don't forget your board mass. It is always bracket first, then off, division, multiplication, addition, and then lastly subtraction. So the first thing you should take care of is the bracket. Now when I expand this bracket, I have 5 times x is 5x, 5 times minus 3 is minus 15, plus 9 is equal to 54. Now if you notice, minus 15 crossed and became plus 15, and then plus 9 crossed and became minus 9. The rule I told you at the beginning of this lesson. So when you evaluate it, you have 54 plus 15, which is 69. Then 69 minus 9 is 60. You divide both sides by the coefficient of x, which is 5. So you have your x is equal to 12. That means the original number this question is talking about is 12. Okay, let's see the last kind of example. Now there are some examples that involve fraction. Let me see if I can see it here. Yeah, I've seen one. Now go to page, I don't know where it is, but example 14. I can't pinpoint the page from here, so go to example number 14. I add 56 to a certain number and then divide the total by 3. The result is 4 times the first number. Find the number. Now this is a bit tricky. take it, as I've told you, take it line by line. The first line says I add 56 to a certain number. You see that certain number should be any letter you want it to be. For here, I think they use n. So let's say let that number be n. I add 56 to it. So how do I add 56 to n? It's either I write 56 plus n or n plus 56, and then I divide the result by 3. What's the result I'm having? I'm having 56 plus n. I divide it by 3. Now, what it is equal to 4 times the first number. What's the first number? It is n. That's the first number. It is n. That's the number we're talking about that we don't know. So the result after doing all this, it is equal to 4 times the original number. So you have the resulting equation is x plus 56 over 3 is equals to 4. Sorry, n plus 56 over 3 is equals to 4n. Now, remember I told you how to clear fractions. How do you clear fractions? You look for the LCM and then multiply the entire equation. So I'm multiplying this left hand side by 3, since 3 is the only denominator there, and I'm multiplying the right hand side by 3. So when you multiply this side by 3, it will cancel. It cancels this denominator. When you might have 4n times 3, it is 12n. Okay, so I have sorry, the number is 55, not 56. It's actually 55. Sorry about that. Okay, now I have n plus 55 is equals to 12n. You collect like terms, and I've told you how to go about this. Now, if you notice, you have 12n here and n. It's better you shift n to the side where 12n is than shifting 12n to the side where n is and then shifting 56 to the other side. So it's better you shift the lower number to where the bigger number is. So if I shift n, it becomes minus n. And then 56 wasn't shifted, so it remains, its sign remains the same. And then 12n minus n is 11n, of course. So then you divide both sides by 11 and then you have 5. I think that's all for today's class. I know this might be very tricky, but you will have understood it better if I was teaching it in class. So I'll apologize for that, and maybe we'll revisit this topic eventually when school resumes, because school will definitely resume. Thank you very much. Please subscribe to my channel. Thank you.